Ladies and gentlemen, what just happened? Welcome to this special episode of the PL Recap, SummerSlam 2025 edition. And I still have no idea what just happened. Night 1 and Night 2 have come and they've passed, and both nights were fantastic, and both nights ended in the most unfathomable way possible. We've got a lot of matches, 12, to completely review and see how I predicted them, right or wrong, and we'll go over how I thought about the matches, if I thought they were good, if I thought they were bad, if I think the booking decision was correct, and especially the crazy stuff that happened at the end of both nights. Let's get straight into the start of night 1, which was Roman and Jay versus the Bronze, B&B Security, Bronson, Braun Breaker. So in my last video, I predicted that the Bronze would pick up a victory here due to like some kind of like shock return. Maybe like plan B was like a new member who would come and defeat them, but I couldn't have been further from the truth. The match was really fun. It was a great way to start. It got the crowd hot, you know, on a day where the crowd wasn't really that good. It started them off. Yeah, Roman Reigns looked fantastic. He did this crazy spot where he jumped out of the ring, completely overshot both the Bronze and nearly died, but luckily tucked his head in time and landed on his back. Yeah, really good match, but I couldn't have been further away from the truth. It was just Roman who sacrificed himself in the last moment to get speared by Braun Breaker, and then Jay picked up the victory, pinning Bronson Reed, which I knew it was going to be Bronson Reed getting pinned if Jay and Roman won, so yeah, that's one incorrect one, but I think this is the right decision considering how the night ended. If Seth never came back and nothing interesting happened, I would have been a little bit disappointed because but because the night ended with this faction standing tall, the Vision, I figured, yeah, this is fine, good booking decision. Jay and Roman look strong as per, and Braun looked like a beast, just destroying everyone at different moments in the match. And the match ended and there's some outside footage of him limping to the back. Fingers crossed he's not injured. I don't think it's a work either because they obviously didn't show it on TV. There's a fan peering around the side curtain, but yeah. Really good match. It gets a thumbs up from me. My prediction was wrong, so that's the first one of night 1 I've gotten wrong. Let's get straight into the second match of the night. The second match is another tag match, but it was the women's tag team champions, Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez, going against the We're Not Friends, the partners of convenience, this really fun duo of Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. And in my prediction video, I predicted that Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair would go on to win these titles, and I was correct. So let's get a tick on that one. Really good match. It was very fun. I completely got worked. I thought Charlotte Flair was going to turn heel and we were going to get a crazy moment where instantly this Allies of Convenience explodes. But no, they are most definitely friends, no matter what they say. And the match was really good, and the performance from all the women in it. I think Raquel looked like an absolute beast. I think Roxanne continues to prove why she is the future of this industry. And obviously Alexa and Charlotte, they're some of the greatest women of all time. So fantastic match. I predicted it right. There's not much else I can say. Obviously on Monday Night Raw, when I'm filming this, it's just after Monday Night Raw, and it looks like they're going straight back into the Judgment Day vortex. However, they did win, so maybe they'll move on to a new tag team. And I think if WWE plays their cards right, they can really make this a foundation for a really good women's tag team division if they will learn from their mistakes, which they made when Jade and Bianca and Jade and Naomi were tag team champions, where they were just the division and there was nothing around them. So when they left, there was nothing there. But yeah, I got that prediction right. I think it's the right decision, good booking decision. Look, they are such an overact, and they've brought everyone to somehow liking Charlotte Flair again, which is fantastic work. And I really enjoy this version of Charlotte Flair, so can't complain. So next match we're gonna look at, we have our first hiccup in a road that was never going to be a straightforward one. We have Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross. Now, in my prediction, I said Sami Zayn would win, so get another tick. That's 2-1 for me. This match wasn't good. They got very little time. They ran through a couple of their moves. Karrion didn't really get a chance to look very good at all, which has been sadly a theme of his matches on PLEs, or these big main event matches, or these big deal matches, I should say. And yeah, Sami Zayn had this moment where Scarlett gives him the steel pipe, and this is right. I said in my prediction video, sorry, I said, look, Karrion Kross, if he just gets Sami Zayn to crack, if he gets him to dig into a darker side of himself, a more underhanded tactical side of himself, that's a win for Karrion Kross, because it proved he was right, and it doesn't go against everything his entire character stands for. Except WWE booked it the complete opposite way. Sami Zayn has completely overcome everything that Scarlett and Karrion Kross have put in front of him, and it's a big shame. He just picked up the pipe, wiggled it around for a little while, and then just threw it at Scarlett, threw it on the floor, and yeah, it's just a really quick haluva kick. And Karrion Kross is done now. I don't see where he goes from here. What is his character now? What can he do? He is wrong. Not everyone has this. He's not better than anyone. Not everyone's got this darker side of him. He's not this character that can bring the dark out of people. He's literally completely ruined his character, sadly. And I'm very pessimistic for Karrion Kross. With these rumors that he might not be re-signed, I'm very, very scared that we are not going to see Karrion Kross on the WWE again. But fingers crossed. Fingers crossed, they might find something for him. I just don't see a way forward here for Karrion. But prove me wrong, please. That's the first thumbs down. Not a good match. Terrible booking decision. Everything I didn't want out of that match happened. But my prediction was correct. So 3-1. Let's move on to the next match, which was infinitely better, luckily. The next match was Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill for the Women's Universal Championship. Now, in my prediction video, predicted Jade Cargill to win. I was expecting them to strap a rocket to the back of Jade Cargill. I said that Tiffany Stratton was getting like no storylines. They put zero effort into this storyline alone. I was just saying she was stuck in the Nia Jax vortex, and even when she went off to have a little Charlotte Flair feud, it was very bad and it didn't go very well and the match was lackluster. I was just thinking that they have sent Tiffy down the wrong path on this title reign more times than not, sadly. So I figured with this massive push it seemed like they were giving Jade Cargill, we were going to see Tiffy drop and see if she can either turn heel, because SmackDown needs a heel, or maybe just go after the title again, or something else, something fresh. However, I am pleasantly surprised because this match was one of the shorter matches of the night, but it was just up there with some of the best of the night because that match was so good. Technically, Tiffany Stratton looked fantastic. Jade Cargill looked like a beast. She had more than a couple moves. She actually looked like she had a deeper moveset than they were showing off. And this is by far her best performance in ring at all, like bar none. This is her best performance in ring. It just so happens that Tiffany Stratton ended up winning. And I think this is a great catalyst for maybe a heel turn for Jade, because like I said, SmackDown needs a heel. SmackDown needs a heel desperately, and I am more than happy to see Jade Cargill go into a darker part of herself, especially after everything that happened with Naomi and the fact that we're dream booking Bianca versus Jade eventually. And that's kind of what I'm looking forward to. But yes, I'm so happy to be wrong. I'm 2-2. I'm okay being wrong because that is a sign of goodwill and a good sign for Tiffany, considering she's 14-0 now and she's just not losing matches. And I think I've probably been a bit harsh in terms of how I feel about the booking, but I'm happy to be wrong because I think now a story can properly start between Jade and Tiffany, even if Jade does eventually take it off her. I'm giving that a massive thumbs up, even though I got the prediction wrong. Let's go into the fifth match, the penultimate match of the night, which was the very fun car crash, which was Jelly Roll and Randy Orton versus Logan Paul and Drew McIntyre. Not for a second did I think this match wouldn't be fun. I was sold in terms of, oh, this is going to be interesting. I'm curious to see how Jelly Roll would do, and I'm interested to see the fun, crazy thing that Logan Paul's definitely going to do for the viral moment. I didn't expect it to be as good as it was, and luckily, in terms of my prediction, I predicted Randy to lose with Jelly Roll, and I was predicting, obviously, Drew and Logan to stand tall because you can't really have two major main event players lose to Jelly Roll, sadly. And Randy can tank an L, he's a legend. So I'm glad I got that right, give that a little tip. Jelly Roll performed fantastically. He's earned everyone's respect in terms of, you can tell he worked hard and you can tell he was really pushing for this, and it was a big moment for him. And to eat what was one of the deadliest looking frog splashes out onto a table I've ever seen, even from Logan Paul's standards, that table exploded. The reinforced table exploded. And Jelly Roll, yeah, crazy moment. The meta glasses, the prime just going everywhere. It was good. It was a really good moment. And overall, I think Drew looked vicious and bad in terms of bad guy. Nothing he looked great. And obviously Randy, I thought looked really good. But I was really impressed with Logan and Jelly Roll. And I feel like if you want to keep Jelly Roll around, I won't complain too much. Just narrow it down to just Logan versus Jelly Roll. because that's something that we could all got behind at the beginning in the first place. But considering they had nothing for Randy or Drew, fair enough. I'm okay with what they did. I still think it was a real gross mismanagement of assets, but whatever. It went well. It's a big thumbs up. My prediction's right. I'm 3-2. We're going into the final prediction now, which was CM Punk versus Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. In my prediction video, I basically said that if this match went one-on-one on its own and it was just who's the best in the world, I said, I think Gunther can take a loss to CM Punk. And I figured that maybe they would do that to give CM Punk his huge moment, finally winning a title. And that's exactly what happened. So I predicted CM Punk would win. That is my prediction from last video. That's a tick. Obviously, now that's 4-2 considering the whole night. I've got all the predictions right except for 2. That was the Jade Cargill match with Tiffany Stratton. And that was also the Braun Bronze versus Roman and Jay. Now, let's talk about this absolute old school wrestling classic, which was Gunther versus CM Punk. The match was great. It was 95% just CM Punk getting the piss beaten out of him. It was literally 95% Gunther just running through the moveset, being this slow, methodical, robotic heel, just getting all the heat from the crowd that loved CM Punk. Now, CM Punk had his moments, but nothing really came off for him until near the end, where he swings Gunther, who's celebrating on top of a table, the commentator's table, swings it, he hits his head, presumably, it looked more like a shoulder bump, but whatever, hits his head, then rolls under the table. We cut back to Gunther and he is bloodied. Clearly he bladed, but they're clearly trying to write him off. And at that point, I thought, my prediction's safe. CM Punk had his moments then, like Gunther being bloodied, he couldn't see and all that. And then eventually 2 GTSs put away Gunther, and CM Punk was your new heavyweight champion. Now, I put a YouTube short on my channel, if you saw it, maybe you did, maybe you didn't. I basically put the clip where I said, I don't really want to predict Seth Rollins coming back because I don't want to just assume the injuries will work, and I don't want to touch that just in case I'm wrong. I should have, because we all got played, we all got worked. Burn It Down hits, Seth Rollins slowly walks out with all these crutches and this leg brace, and he walks out and the commentators are playing it off like, oh, he's just reminding him he's got till next June to cash this in. And I'm just like, okay. Then he turns around, starts going away. Paul Heyman stays where he is. I'm like, okay, what's going on? And then he stands up straight, drops the crutches, turns around, rips off the clothes, rips off the knee brace, grabs the briefcase and jogs down. And honestly, I am so surprised. I got completely worked by this whole plan. I think we all did. Everyone predicted there's a chance, and it would have been I said in my video, it would have been irresponsible of me not mentioning Seth Rollins, but I did not predict that we would have possibly the greatest cash-in of all time, the ruse of the century, 10 years after the heist of the century, synonymous with Seth Rollins being the Money in the Bank holder on both of those occasions. They did this so well, and it was the perfect end to night one. The whole faction coming out, and obviously CM Punk having his moment ripped away, 40 seconds less time held than Drew McIntyre, which is Drew McIntyre's probably his favourite day out at work ever, probably, after that. But yeah, fantastic ending to the night on what was a really good night. That's a really good match. It was a thumbs up. Another prediction right. I only had one of these matches that I didn't like, and it was the Karrion Kross Sami Zayn match. Other than that, a perfect night, picture perfect, great matches. And then it ended with Triple H saying, if you thought this was good, just wait till tomorrow. Now, I've heard that before at WrestleMania and I was disappointed, but I was very quietly confident. So speaking of night 2, let's move from night 1 into night 2. And we'll talk about the first match, which was the highly anticipated triple threat between Rhea Ripley, Io Sky and Naomi. 3 women who all together combined to making what I believe was the greatest women's wrestling match of all time, back in the main event of Evolution. Now, Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, Naomi, I was a little bit... I wasn't disappointed at all. I had high expectations and this match was phenomenal, yeah? It was really good. It didn't come close to Evolution, even close, but it was still really good in its own right for its own reasons. The reason why it wasn't as good as the other 2 for me is the combos between all 3 weren't as frequent. That's when this match really picked up for me. When Naomi was hitting springboard moonsaults, or the leg thing that she does, and she's trying to pin Rhea, but then out of nowhere, the over the moonsault lands and Naomi gets out of the way and Rhea gets hit by it. when they're all three in the ring working together, using their movesets and those combos, I was very much enjoying it. But sadly, a good chunk of that match was a one-on-one match where normally Naomi would be just waiting around the outside and then throwing someone out. So then it's a one-on-one match versus Naomi. And those are the kind of triple threat matches that don't gel with me as well as, say, the other ones that have been fantastic this year. Like the main event of WrestleMania Night 1 with CM Punk, Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. As well, at WrestleMania, the women's triple threat match, Bianca Belair, Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, those three worked very well together doing those combos, all three of them in the ring. So that's why I prefer that kind of triple threat. But this match was still a massive thumbs up. I predicted Naomi would win, and she did win using her heelish tactics. I would never have predicted Rhea Ripley to get pinned, but yeah, Rhea Ripley gets pinned, Naomi wins in a heelish way, and then runs off. One prediction right, so night 1, I got to 4 out of 6, and night 1, we've already started with 1 correct prediction. Let's move on to the next match. Obviously, this one's a thumbs up, fantastic match. But let's move on to the next one, which was the unbelievable car crash. I predicted this match to be a generational match, the greatest TLC match of all time. And maybe I'm just not educated enough. I've maybe not watched all of the TLC matches. But I don't think it's a stretch to say that's the greatest TLC match of all time. You had 6 teams. That's 12 individual bodies, plus other members of each faction and each team coming in to get involved, like Big Red, Uncle Howdy, Candice LeRae, B-Fab. That's a lot of bodies in this match. And it was always going to be an unreal car crash. And I always had massive predictions for it. But my goodness me, was this match fantastic. It started off just, you didn't know where to look. You couldn't blink at any point in the match. Just all these people fighting. And then the crazy spots happened. 4 people through a chair. Massive ladder spots, and then Candice LeRae comes in to try and win the title for DIY, and her husband knocks over the ladder and she falls from all the way up top onto another ladder, and the ladder just splits in half, and it was the most crazy spot probably of the whole match, considering she wasn't even part of the match. And yeah, everyone played their part fantastically. I predicted, basically just on a whim, Andrade and Rey Fenix, and near the end we got so close. I was so sure, but no, that didn't happen. I just thought they might want to pull the trigger on them because they are the hottest one right now, the newest one. But no, they did this, and they underhandedly, but it was the Wyatt Six who ended up winning and retaining in the TLC match. And I think it's good to probably prolong this story of this whole massive tag team division that despises each other still need to try and band together to stop the Wyatt Six from doing their thing and controlling this whole division. So yeah, it's a huge thumbs up, 3 thumbs up, fantastic. It's arguably the best match of the whole weekend, and it was really, 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 really good. I got the prediction wrong though, so that's 1 and 1. Let's move on to the next one, which was Lyra Valkyria versus Becky Lynch, the final match of the crazy, unbelievably good feud. This has been the making of Lyra Valkyria, and this has been a renaissance for this Becky Lynch character, who is, I think she's putting on the best work she's ever done in her career, and that's saying a lot for one of the greatest of all time. And yeah, I love this heel character, the way it's gone. All these matches have been match of the year. I think this match suffered from coming after the TLC match, so all this brutality they went to, this like straight up, we were talking murder, basically nearly got done here. And all of this stuff, it suffered from the fact that there was crazy spots prior to this match. And I think it didn't come off the way they wanted it. There was slight little hiccups here and there, but it really got going near the end as well. So I wouldn't put this probably anywhere near some of their one-on-one matches that have been just technical wrestling classics. But this is still kind of the perfect way to end it, I think. And I'd still give this one a huge thumbs up. However, you had all these moments where, Lyra Valkyria is getting zip-tied and she's getting beaten with kendo sticks and she's getting absolutely demolished. She finally gets it off after fighting with her hands tied. She finally gets it off. Becky Lynch, there's been near falls for both of them. And then you have this moment where out comes Bayley going to attack Becky Lynch, and then Becky Lynch is like, you know this is her fault, right? She's betrayed you, join me. And she says no, she goes after Becky Lynch, and then she accidentally punches with this metal chain, I believe, right across Lyra Valkyria's face, causing Lyra Valkyria to lose and obviously causing Becky Lynch to win. Lyra can no longer fight for this championship while Becky Lynch is the champion. And it seems Becky Lynch has moved on to bigger things and different things. I see this feud now being a Lyra Valkyria Bayley feud, not for the title, and we'll see Lyra Valkyria again going up against one of the other 4 horsewomen, which is another massive push for her, another massive moment. And yeah, a really good match. It was a good way to end the story. I predicted Lyra would have this title. I said that she would go after Bayley next. I didn't predict her to be the reason why Lyra lost, but yeah. Becky ends up keeping it. I'm now 1 and 2, incorrect obviously because I predicted Lyra to win, and that obviously didn't happen. But yeah, it was a really, really good match. I think I have not the best memory of it because of how the spots didn't fully come off as nicely as they should have. Big thumbs up. Let's move on to the next match of the night. The next match was the steel cage match between Solo and Jacob Fatu. Now, in my last video, I predicted that Solo Sikoa would retain because I just thought he's been eating losses left, right, and center. This faction looks weak. The MFT, the My Family Tree looks awful so far. In terms of, it's just Jacob Fatu beating them all, and then Tola Tonga tries to drag away Solo. That's it. That's the whole feud. And I'm okay with Solo retaining here. Obviously, that's what happened, because I think you kind of bury Solo in this group if you take it off him now without them looking at all strong. But the match was weird. It was an awkward one. I hate when steel cage matches end with just someone being walking out. The only time this stipulation has worked for me is when Roman Reigns returned to rip Seth Rollins out of the steel cage. Only time going out of that front door has ever worked for me because it made sense for the story. It set CM Punk off on him and yeah, all that stuff. But overall, I just, the match was I can't give it a thumbs down because some of the spots were crazy, but the best one happened after the match. So I'm actually going to give this one a thumbs down. The match was fine. It was okay. Solo looked really good. He's the first person I've ever seen kick out of a mighty moonsault, let alone 2. So Solo got some random PLE strength there, but he just looked like a little bitch the rest of the match. So I didn't even get to be proud of him for kicking out because it didn't come for anything. Jacob looked fantastic as normal, so I can't complain there. But overall, I had problems with the way the match ended. Obviously, Solo flops out of the ring after Tonga kicks the steel cage door into Jacob's face, but Solo was right there as well, so it hit his head too, so whatever. Jimmy obviously did get involved. He didn't help too much, but either way, the best part of this entire match was the mighty moonsault from the top of the cage. I'm worried about all these spots since Bronson Reed shattered both his ankles, but it went healthily, it went well, and it looked fantastic. So Jacob's still fantastic, and Solo's still champion. So match gets a thumbs down. Prediction, I'm 2 and 2 now. It went well, I'm not complaining. Let's get on to the penultimate match of SummerSlam 2025, which was AJ Styles and Dirty Dominic Mysterio. Now, I, in my video, predicted AJ Styles to finally overcome Dominic Mysterio after this long story. I neglected the fact that this is really their first match in what could be a feud, and what is going to be a couple matches long. So, neglecting that fact, just assuming he would drop it and then become Triple A champion, I was a bit blinded by that side of things. However, I hold my hands up. I was wrong. This is the opening match. Dirty Dominic Mysterio was loved by the crowd, so was AJ. AJ came out in the same gear that Eddie Guerrero came out in during the custody of Dominic Mysterio match, playing those mind games. And then the finish was kind of brilliant. I mean, AJ looked great, Dominic looked great, but Dominic undoes his boot so that while he's going for the calf crusher, the boot falls off and he grabs the boot, hits him in the head while the referee's not looking, and that was it. AJ Styles loses to Dominic Mysterio. The feud is just getting started, so I was wrong. I'm 2 and 3 now. But the match was really good. It was a really good love letter to Eddie Guerrero. Honestly, it was fantastic. And all the people on the IWC, especially after this night, I stayed away from Twitter, but all the people in the IWC who had a problem with him dressing up like Eddie Guerrero, I don't know what they're doing, but whatever. It was a really good tribute to Eddie Guerrero, and it obviously was a good match. It was great for Dominic's 20-year anniversary in the WWE, so 2 and 3 in terms of predictions. The match gets a thumbs up, and we go on to the main event of SummerSlam 2025, which was John Cena and Cody Rhodes. I was so nervous for this match because I needed it. I needed it to heal me from WrestleMania 41. In my prediction video, I predicted Cody Rhodes would win. I was very outlandish. I predicted The Rock would come back and make it seem like it was John Cena he was going to help, but then he would help Cody Rhodes because Cody Rhodes has sold his soul. I predicted that Travis Scott would be tucked away in the back, never to be seen again in WWE, and thankfully that was the truth. But I was correct, but wildly wrong at the same time. I predicted one of these two would leave here as a heel, and as the match went on, Cody Rhodes going extra to do more damage, more heelish things that John Cena would have been doing while he was a heel. I was like, oh, I'm certain now. When The Rock's music hits, we're going to get Cody Rhodes turning heel. But no, it was just a really hard-hitting, very violent, great street fight that had crazy spots, that had Superman John Cena versus Superman Cody Rhodes, the face of the company for like 15, 20 years, versus the current face of the company, clashing in what was a really beautiful love letter to John Cena, a final Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels, if you will, a final goodbye to John Cena in terms of him being a title holder. They had that moment where Cody Rhodes saluted him after he puts him through a table with a Cody cutter. That was a really good reversal. And that moment just was a goodbye, I love you, Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair moment. I thought the match was very akin to The Rock versus Hulk Hogan because you had the face, who was always the face, coming in, Cody Rhodes, and the crowd were booing him for the nostalgia of John Cena being a good guy with all the music, and all the lights, and coming out with the running to the ring and the throwing the... It was fantastic. I'm really glad, despite the heel turn finally just getting good, I'm glad they gave this final moment at SummerSlam for John Cena, this good rub, because it was good and it meant a lot to a lot of people. I got very emotional during that match, saying goodbye to John Cena as a title holder. I predicted Cody Rhodes would win for completely different reasons, but this match had no interruptions, no Dwayne Johnson, no The Rock, no Final Boss, no Travis Scott, which is great. And yeah, my prediction was right, 3-3, but the match was really good. It was a somber ending to a match, but I think it's the way it had to be. A big passing of the torch moment, a good love letter to say goodbye to John Cena as your main champion face of the company, because I don't see him holding another main title again, sadly, for the rest of his 4 months here. But all the crazy talk-worthy stuff happened afterwards, because after this, they have this hug moment. John Cena raises his hands, Cody Rhodes raises his hands. He leaves to give John Cena his final moment with the crowd. The crowd serenades him and gives him his flowers. He just starts to walk away. And then Brock Lesnar's music hits, and out of literally nowhere, no one would have predicted this unless you've read crazy dirt sheets, which I stayed away from. That didn't even cross my mind as a thought. Mr. SummerSlam coming back 2012-esque, 2014-esque to just absolutely demolish John Cena at SummerSlam. I was shot straight back into the 2010s, honestly, and Brock Lesnar returning out of nowhere, says nothing, just comes in, F5s John Cena, smiles, walks out. And now I don't know where we're going from here. I mean, Brock Lesnar is back in the WWE, which is something I never thought would happen again. And he's feuding with John Cena, which is clearly why they had to turn him face. So Cody Rhodes is now your Universal WWE Champion, and we'll see where that goes. Obviously, he's meant to go away to film Street Fighter, which is why I was going to predict John Cena to win, but part-time champions, on SmackDown. That's kind of the gist. We have Cody Rhodes as champion, we have Brock Lesnar now being back in the WWE, and we have John Cena feuding with this beast, Brock Lesnar returning. Let me know in the comments what you thought of this SummerSlam. I have 2 out of the 12 matches as thumbs downs, to be honest, and one of them was significantly worse. That Karrion Kross match with Sami Zayn was just a nightmare. Everything I wanted to not happen happened, so whatever. Let me know what you thought about SummerSlam. Let me know if you had any predictions. If you saw Brock Lesnar coming back, I don't believe you, but if you say it, sure. If you expected this cash in, I've said it, but I didn't want to lock that prediction in, so I got close, but no cigar. Thank you so much for watching this video. SummerSlam was a complete success. I'm so glad it's now 2 nights, because if they keep on this pace, it will be closer to WrestleMania than obviously it would have beforehand. We look forward to Clash in Paris. I'm going to be at one of the Raw events before Clash in Paris, and I'm very excited for that. So yeah, let me know where you think these feuds can go and what you think's next for all these different people in the WWE, and let me know what you thought of my predictions as well. Thank you so much for watching this video. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, goodbye.